Let's get to Capitol Hill right now because the government is partially shut down today and its fate now lies in the hands of the House. In just a few hours, the House Rules Committee is set to consider a funding package to end the shutdown. The Senate passed this legislation late Friday. Senators agreed to substitute the DHS funding bill in the package for a 2-week extension of funding for the department at current levels, but this still needs approval from the House. And House Democrats on the Homeland Committee sent a letter to their colleagues urging them to vote against the funding package, saying Democrats must act now to demand real changes that protect our communities before ICE and CBP receive another dollar in funding.
We voted for this last time. The Democrats, most of them voted for this. For the Democrats to turn around and vote against it on Tuesday just to shut down the federal government makes no sense to me at all. I think the Speaker, the trick is getting it through the Rules Committee, and I believe that the Speaker would not do that if he didn't have the votes.
CBS News congressional reporter Taurean Small is live on Capitol Hill for us today. Hey, Taurean, so what are we expecting from the House today?
Yeah, Mugo, we're expecting those deliberations in that panel you just mentioned. This is the procedural step before any bill becomes legislation as it heads to the House floor. It has to go through the House Rules Committee. What we're expected to hear is the case from Democrats. Quite a few are still concerned about the aggressive immigration enforcement raids the Trump administration has been taking. Democrats in the Senate brokering a deal that would see, instead of another year-long funding for the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees ICE, just a 2-week window to allow what Senate and House leadership are calling good faith negotiations about a pathway forward. So that's set to happen at 4 p.m. where we'll see those deliberations before it is expected to be voted out of that panel favorably to the floor for a vote, which, according to Speaker Johnson, that could happen as early as tomorrow.
And Taurean, also on the docket for the House are resolutions to hold former President Bill Clinton and his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, in contempt of Congress. Where does that stand?
Yeah, so it goes through that panel again. This is the essential gatekeeper before it heads to the full floor for a vote. It's at the discretion of the Speaker after it is approved out of committee, which again, House Republicans hold a narrow majority, so it's likely that will happen. And then he could decide anytime this week after that happens to send it to the floor for a vote. The procedure that happens after that is there would take a recommendation from Congress to the Department of Justice to decide whether or not to execute that contempt of court charge on the Clintons. But we'll see. As we've seen before in the past, this is a Department of Justice that has been pretty much in lockstep with President Trump on prosecuting or going after his political rivals. So that's likely the pathway that we're heading down. But I do want to make mention of this special election that happened in Texas. Another Democrat headed to the Senate. The balance of power is even more smaller of a margin of victory for Republicans. They can only afford to lose one Republican vote moving forward after the House Speaker swears in the new congressman-elect. Once that happens, we'll see a lot more of that head-bashing stoppage before any legislation can move forward without any general consensus here, Mugo.
Okay, Taurean Small on Capitol Hill for us today. As always, thank you so much for your time.